Hi everyone, we're in the bottom of our land in the well, and today I want to talk to you about our upgrade. We need to upgrade the pump, or we needed to upgrade the pump because it sucks and not water. If it would, that would be great. But this is a plastic pump that we bought right in the beginning. It was 50 euros from second hand. And it's not working properly. It has never worked properly. We changed some parts to try and make it work, but it didn't work, and it doesn't. There are a couple of problems with it. It loses its prime a lot, even though we have a foot valve on there. It still, over time and in the temperature changes, it still loses its prime, and therefore you can't rely on it to just turn the switch on up the hill. You have to be down here and check everything before you can turn it on, and that can be a little bit annoying, especially if you have other things to do, and therefore we wanted something that is doesn't have to be primed every time. The other problem is that this one came with some quick connectors that you can see here on the hose. You turn it 90 degrees and then it should be on there, but this one does. These don't really work, because as soon as there's a little bit of sideways force on there, it loses this little rubber ring, loses its seal, and therefore you start to draw in water, or air, I mean, or water leaks out. So we needed to change that, and because of some of your lovely patrons, we were able to buy a submersible pump. Yes, it's heavy. It's 13 kilos, I think. And this one is submersible, so there is no prime necessary, and it can move the water up 60 meters straight up, but this one will be on a slope, so it can be done higher. And it's 900 watts, which means that this one is 1000, so we're actually saving some energy while moving more water. It moves up to 85 liters a minute, which is about 5,000 liters, but up the hill it will decrease a little bit. But yeah, it's a stronger, heavy duty pump. On top of that, we want to do some extra upgrades while we do this, and we do this now because Leia is pregnant and she deserves a shower. I'm already building the shower next to our kitchen, or on our kitchen, and but I'll show that later. And but before that, we wanted to make sure that the water is done correctly, so we also include a check valve and an inline water filter to get some extra sediment out of the water while we're pumping it up. And also the last thing is that we want to move these two IBCs that we use for irrigation of the garden up another terrace, so they will be it's an increase of 2 to 3 IBCs on top of each other. We just moved the IBC further away from the garden, and then we use a line to make a connection here so that we can still irrigate the water from here, or irrigate the garden from here. So that's the plan. The new pump uses a bigger diameter line, so we go up from 1 inch, the 32 millimeter, to a 40 millimeter, which is 1.25 inches. And we use that to only on the up line, so only from the pump to the reservoir up there, and then we use the old line to make some extra taps on the land. So we want one next to the greenhouse, we want one here, and we want one on the terrace below our kitchen. So that's all the plan. Let's see what we run into, and whether I need to go back to the Rega Centro to get more stuff. That's it. This is 100 meters of pipe. It's high pressure pipe, and it's 1.25 inches. And I hate these things because they always come in these coils, and it takes a lot of work to unroll them without getting a big explosion. So I asked Leia to hold this spool while I take the end of the hose and run it down the hill, while I'll roll it to unroll the pipe. And hopefully we have enough. We have 200 meters, which should be more than enough, but I didn't want to have too little, and that's what we're doing right now. So it's a couple of days later. I'm finished with hooking everything up, and we've tested everything. So we have the IBCs. They are up a level. They are now behind our kitchen and soon to be shower. They are connected together. There are some issues with leveling, because if you take water down in the garden, only one of the IBC, the water in one of the IBCs drops, and then it levels out over an hour or so. So you do have the benefit of them together, but it's not working perfectly. I'm happy to hear if you have any suggestions of how to improve that. But we've increased the size of the pipe coming up. It's now 1.25 inches, and that means that we can fill these, together with the new pump, we can fill these IBCs in about 10 minutes. Which used to take a couple of hours with like a tiny little stream coming out, and now the whole pipe, the 1.25 inches, is completely full of water, and that really improves our life. And you don't have any sound of a pump running the whole time, which would not be that bad with only 10 minutes, but it's a major improvement. The other thing is that we never have to unhook the pump anymore to switch hoses, because I've installed taps at the bottom, and all the IBCs are here, so we can just, maybe I'll make a better system that we don't have the hose in the top, and we have some connectors that everything can be done by just opening a tap or not. But that's future improvement. That is the first step. The other thing is that we have all the lines now running in one area, so we can in the future dig a trench in the winter and put the hoses in, and they'll disappear underneath the soil, which is also great, because then they don't warm up anymore during the summer days. And of course I still need to cover these IBCs with a structure, but that's easier done here instead of down there, where it would have been a self-contained structure, and now it can be part of the whole kitchen bathroom thing. That's it for here, and I'll take you down in the bottom of the garden, and I'll show you the taps and stuff. Okay, we're at the bottom in the garden now. This is the big olive tree, which is one of Lea's favorite spots, and I've installed a tap here, temporarily of course, because the ground is too hard now to really hit a pole in, but it works, and it's here to test whether it would improve, and in the future we will use this tap to water the greenhouse, which is behind me. And we can fill up watering cans here, we can hook up a hose and use it in the greenhouse, we can do whatever. But the point I want to show you is that we have improved the water flow and pressure. Alright, that's about 20 liters, 5 gallons, I don't know exactly how that translates, but more or less that. But it fills up fairly quickly, and we don't have to wait for a normal stream of water, but it's a bigger stream, which is an improvement. I love it. So finally we're down at the well. This is where we've hung in the submersible pump, and it's the well level is almost half now, and it's more or less stable. I don't think we'll run out of water by the end of the summer, but we'll keep you informed about the well and how it is performing. This is also where we put in the other tap. So this is the one that Lea uses to water the garden. But there's not enough water pressure and flow now that we could hook up sprinkler systems, or improve our gully system or trench system, because there's more water flow, and therefore the gullies will fill up faster, and therefore you use less water to fill up a whole gully, instead of the first bit getting too much water and the last bit doesn't get enough water. The other thing I want to tell is that we have this was made possible by our patrons. Made it possible that we could improve this pump system, and therefore we want to thank you. And if you want to become a patron as well and help us with future projects, then please go to the link in the description box, and I'll talk to you next week.
Ik zie alleen nog niet dat hij gelijk leeg loopt.
Nee.